Hey everyone, this is Mickey Papillon with thecellphonejunkie.com, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab. Announced at IFA in September, the Tab brought the first real competition to the relatively infantile tablet market dominated by the iPad. The Tab line follows the success of the Galaxy S line of devices and has rolled out on all major US carriers. Now, the Tab used in this review was provided by Verizon, and as we dig into the box here, you can see the Tab itself. We'll get into a little bit more of it in just a second, but it is available for $600 from Verizon, no contract required. Next, inside the box, we've got the AC wall adapter. Of course, plug in your USB cable there on the one end and into the wall on the other. Speaking of the cable, this one is a proprietary connector. It's not micro USB and looks shockingly like that for iOS devices. In fact, I actually had to take it and hold it up side by side with an iOS one to make sure. Of course, you've got the user guides there as well. Looking at the Tab, you've got a 7-inch WSVGA 1024 by 600 7-inch TFT display. At the bottom, Samsung kept the same configuration as the Galaxy S for the buttons, which is Settings, Home, Back, and Search. On the bottom, you've got the charging port and speakers on either side. Going to the left side of the device, just the single microphone hole at the top half of the Tab there. On the top side, you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the right, the power button, volume rocker toggles, and then a micro SD card slot. The Tab comes with a 16GB card pre-installed. And then on the back, you can see it's a carbon fiber back on it, so it's a nice looking back, and there's that 3.2 megapixel camera right on the top. So we pulled the plastic off, and we're going to hit the power button, get the device booted. Specifications on the Tab include CDMA and EVDO Rev A on the 800 and 1900 megahertz bands. The processor is a 1 GHz Cortex A8 with 2 gigs of flash ROM and 512 megs of RAM. The Tab comes with Android 2.2 Froyo, and my first impression of the Tab at the fall CTIA show was extremely positive. At 13 ounces, the weight is half of that on the iPad, which means much less fatigue when using it for extended periods. Now, after using the Tab for the past week or so, I'm convinced that the size and weight of a tablet are going to be big decision points for most people when they go to choose a tablet computer. And after we slide to unlock, we're presented with the Android interface. We'll slide side to side. You can see the standard TouchWiz interface that you're so used to here on many of the Samsung devices. Go into applications, and you can also see, again, the side to side as you'll see on devices such as the Captivate and Fascinate. Now, the browser is one thing that I'm pretty interested in, and this is the first time actually going in and trying to do anything in the browser. This is over the Verizon 3G network, and you'll notice here I do struggle a little bit with trying to figure out how to go into the address bar and actually get it to highlight the entire thing. Wasn't real intuitive. As you could see, I was trying to double tap on it, couldn't slide on it. Finally, I said, all right, we'll just select all, and then go ahead and type in, of course, the site, the Cell Phone Junkie, which is easily accessible by tcpj.info. And as we would expect, it pulls up in the mobile version. And this is a very nice way to view it if you're just on a phone and you're looking to just read through the news quick and easy. But we're on a tablet, so let's go ahead and switch over to regular view because that's really what we want to check out. And you can see overall it loads fairly nicely, nice and quick. All the images are there, all the advertisements and everything that we would expect on there. Going back to the show number 234, let's see what we can do here. That does show the Flash player. That's one of the benefits of Froyo, so let's see what this sounds like.
The Cell Phone Junkie Podcast, episode 234 for November 21st, 2010. Carriers join forces on a mobile payment system. Virgin lowers the bar for cheap broadband on the go, and Google Voice comes to the iPhone. My name is Mickey Papillon.
And I'm Joey Kappas.
Brought to you by Square Trade and with the help of listeners like you, subscribers to the Cell Phone Junkie.
And that's enough of that. Basically, as you can see, it gets pretty choppy if you're scrolling around and doing things. And the inclusion of Flash seems like it could be a good thing if the user was really looking to take full advantage of the content written for the standard. But I really feel that nearly every page that had some sort of Flash running on it, the browser would start to slow down. And I'm going to agree with Steve Jobs that this is just not the thing that we want to see on mobile devices. It does work well, as you'll see, for rendering video. It'll play the video nice and smoothly here, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to interact with, and it doesn't cause other issues, as you heard with just the audio. Notice I'll try and make the video go into full screen. It doesn't want to take for me, and trying to scroll back and forth on the bar here that should allow me to scrub nice and easily back and forth is just not as user intuitive as one would hope. So unfortunately, I have to say that Flash, although it's going to work and you can use it if you want, is not going to be the best thing for your experience. And while few third-party apps have been rewritten, some stock apps from Samsung, like the calendar, have been. As you can see, the calendar takes advantage of the larger screen real estate and makes it very nice for flipping through your calendar. I find this a very nice touch, and users will enjoy it. Going back into the browser for one more test, we're going to run a speed test here, going to speedtest.net. And one thing that I like about speed test is that it actually implements the Flash as well, so we can see another example of how the browser will become a little bit sluggish and unresponsive. Pinch to zoom, you'll see works there, but it takes a little bit for the actual Flash image to render there. Though once it pulls up where it thinks we should be testing from, we'll click on Begin to Test. And as we mentioned, the tab has CDMA and EVDO radios built in for both data and SMS messaging. The overall network quality is very good. Verizon's well-built network here, especially in the Phoenix market, has made it the most reliable by far. Data speeds are better than I expected, better than those that I've seen in the past, especially with the Fascinate that I tested out last month. You can see here we're going to be in somewhere in the high 1 megabit per second range. I've even seen upwards of 2 megabits per second. The upload side is averaging around 500 megs. So the Samsung Galaxy Tab on Verizon, available for $600 with no contract. It's different enough from the iPad to give the tablet market some real competition. This has been Mickey Papillon with thecellphonejunkie.com.